So, Carver, have you thought about what you'll do if your expedition doesn't pay off?
This is our only chance, and you know it.
You're so damned proud you couldn't pick up a trade.
And who would take a Ferelden apprentice? Maybe in another year I could work my way up to piss boy.
Fine, let's crawl down some holes. Good bloody luck for your sake.
Stop looking at me.
What's your issue now, little hawk?
Don't call... Just don't, all right? You're looking for fodder for your stories.
Do you think you're that interesting?
I have enough trouble being overshadowed as it is. I don't need to get caught under an imaginary me, too.
Don't you worry. I'm not in the business of lullabies or children's stories.
Varric?
Carver.
Still think you're helping while bearing us in debt to your brother?
Still riding side saddle while bitching at your betters?
Drinks later?
Never miss 'em.
You don't like me, Carver?
I don't like you.
That's unfortunate. Hating someone just because they're a mage is a shameful thing.
I don't hate you because you're a mage. I hate you because you won't shut up about it. Oppression this, Templars that. I'd heard enough long before you.
Maybe it's time you put some thought into it. Nice day to be planning a trip into the deep roads, don't you think? The blight, the dampness, the festering darkness filled with tainted rats.
Shut up.
You've got a real chip on your shoulder, you know.
I've got a big blade on my shoulder, Magey.
Right. Wonder what you're compensating for.
So, Isabella, you captained a ship. That's a lot of men to handle, for you to command.
Well, aren't you just adorable, fumbling for a topic?
You say that like I'm harmless.
As harmless as a pup that will someday grow into its fangs and sink them deep.
Sure, keep teasing. I'll show you how much of a pup I am.
I know. That's why I do it. I saw you at the Blooming Rose the other night.
What? No, you didn't.
I suppose someone else stole your chin to romance faith?
That's unlikely. She wasn't even working.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
Carver, what would Mother say?
You're just... That's not what I... Shit.
You look like a man I once dueled. He was a little intimidated by my reputation as a vicious pirate, but rose to the challenge.
He looked like me, you say?
It went on all night, under the stars, the waves lapping at our ankles.
On the beach? In the surf? How did you get a proper footing?
We didn't. There was quite a bit of tumbling around, and we were soaked and sore by the time the sun came up.
Did you... win?
I managed to get on top in the end, but I considered it a tie.
Why is it always about sex with you?
It's not. Sometimes it's about sex with other people.
You see? It comes up every single time we talk.
We're just talking, Carver. If it comes up, that's not my fault.
What? I mean, that's not what I meant. It doesn't. Ugh, I hate you so much. So, you're not like a lot of other girls.
No, I'm an elf.
Right. All right then.
Oh, did I miss something dirty?
What? No, it wasn't dirty. It wasn't anything.
Oh, right. Because I miss a lot of dirty things, and sometimes I wouldn't mind hearing them.
Would you now? Your people came a long way, Meryl. But I'd like to think we have Ferelden in common.
I never saw Lothering. Did you walk as much as we did? Probably more. You didn't start with Hala. Our ship stunk.
Your ship?
There was something foul in the hold. Oh, I can still smell it.
Oh, well, that must have been unpleasant.
It was. Did I miss another dirty thing?
No.
miss it? For Eldon, I mean.
Sometimes.
Blackberries. They don't seem to grow here. And there were little songbirds with black caps on their heads.
I sort of missed the dogs barking.
Yes. It's mostly been humans barking at me here. Not nearly as cute. How did you learn swording?
Swording?
Those things you do with the sword. It looks tricky. Was it hard to learn?
Takes a lot of practice.
Well, you seem good at it. I bet one day you'll be the best sworder in Kirkwall.
Meryl,
I said something wrong again, didn't I? Maybe I'll just stop talking.
you know, Fenris, I have a tattoo.
You have a what?
A tattoo. A lot of us got them before Ostagar. It's a Mabari, for strength.
Does it curse you with the ability to reach into a man and tear out his insides?
I can make it bark.
Please don't.
So this master of yours wants your markings back? Skin and all?
So his hunters told me, unwillingly.
So why not cover them up? Wouldn't that make you harder to find?
Let them come. I am not one to hide.
Still, if it were me...
It's not.
So you've really never thought of hiding from those hunters?
To what end?
So you could, I don't know, have a life?
What life do you have? There are no hunters after you at all.
I have a life.
One that you complain about. We are not always free to do as we wish, as you should well know.
I do have a life.
Then I stand corrected.
A Ferelden in the Guard. What will they think of next?
You have a problem with that?
Me? My family's not native either. I'm just surprised. A lot of old prejudice in the Guard.
I'll give them plenty of reason to change their minds.
You know, it's possible they're just scared shitless of you. That's my theory, anyway. So, what do you do, Aveline?
You know I'm a guard. Why are you asking?
I mean in your off-duty hours, for fun. You've heard of it, I hope.
These are my off-duty hours.
And the trend of you scaring the piss out of me continues.
So, there must be mages in Tevinter who don't use blood magic.
Of course, there are slaves. The Magisters do not hesitate to collar their own kind.
But no magisters.
Why must you go on about this? No Magister would turn down an advantage over his rivals. If he did, he'd be dead.
You know, to use blood magic, you need to look a demon in the eye and accept his offer. I just figured some of them would say no. For aesthetic reasons, if nothing else.
So you freed a group of slaves?
Would-be slaves. They weren't slaves yet.
Still, you did the right thing. Many would turn a blind eye.
Don't read too much into it, all right? It just seemed a good idea at the time.
So this relic you mentioned losing...
You have pretty eyes.
I have pretty eyes.
You elves have such pretty eyes. Even the men. It makes me want to pluck them out and wear them as a necklace.
I wouldn't suggest trying.
Oh, I would never try. Not without reason, of course.
Forget I said anything.
Isabella, you never talk about the mage's plight.
What's there to say?
There's plenty to say.
And you say enough for the lot of us, don't you think?
So you're telling me you have no opinion on the matter?
None whatsoever.
That can't be true.
No, I'm afraid I'm really this shallow.
You must really like the Hawk family.
Why do you say that?
You came all the way from Lothering with them, didn't you? And they're not even your clan.
Humans don't have clans, Meryl.
Exactly. You came so far together, and you didn't even have a keeper to make you get along.
So your keeper tells you to stop kicking each other, or she'll turn the Aravel around?
Sometimes she also warns us to stop pulling hair. Do you really like sailing?
Like it? I love it. The salt spray on my face, the wind whipping by my ears, the gulls screaming overhead. I love it all.
Oh, don't you get sick? I was so sick on our trip across the sea.
Were you in the hold?
Everyone was in the hold.
There's your problem. You need to be up on deck, under the sky, with nothing between you and the horizon. Sailing is like sex. Do it wrong, and it'll make you sick. But do it right, and there's no feeling in the world like it. Do men find you intimidating? What about Wesley? Did he?
Isabella.
What? Too soon?
Too soon, too personal, too... everything coming from you.
Oh, sore spot?
If you don't shut up, I'll give you a sore spot. So, Isabella, you're a captain.
That's right, big girl. What of it?
I don't remember your name on any registries. Every ship that docks has to declare.
I never docks. And you're no port authority.
And you are no merchant.
Ooh, scrutiny. You have such pretty hair. What a lovely color.
Other children used to laugh at me for having ginger hair.
Really? Oh, I bet you were cute. Did you have pigtails?
Sometimes.
How precious. Little Aveline running around the village with her flaming orange pigtails streaming behind her. And little boys all scattering and screaming for mercy as she approached.
Shut up, whore.
I would like to know more about being a guard, Aveline.
I don't think that's the job for you.
I know, but it might help me not get caught.
You probably shouldn't have said that part.
Why?
Just... never mind.
It's not always fun and games on the sea, though. There are storms and hostile pirates. And it's trying being cooped up with men who haven't seen a woman in months.
You're a woman.
Exactly. And I don't usually let them touch me, so they get... frustrated. I insist all of them get alone time. Helps with the crankiness.
They're already lonely. Why would you insist they be alone some more?
Ah, Meryl.
What? Did I miss something?
Go think about it. Maybe it'll come to you. Well, Captain. Can I call you Captain? You can call me Captain.
I won't be doing that.
Neither will I, because you're a guard captain. No real authority. Not like on a ship.
Well, you would know about having a large number of men under you.
You've been waiting to use that one. Did you practice?
Shut up.
Why don't you arrest us, Aveline?
What?
We break the law, I'm pretty sure. There are laws for almost everything. You're not a bad guard, are you?
No.
That's good. Is it because you're fond of Hawk? I kind of am.
How very nice for you. Keep it to yourself.
I'd rather keep it with him. Did Lothering have an alienage?
It wasn't a big enough village to have a wall around it, let alone a place for elves.
Where did the elves live then?
Stables and outbuildings mostly.
I think I like alienages better. How do you do that?
Do what, kitten?
You sort of... swagger when you walk. I've been trying, but I trip over my own feet when I do it.
You just strut. It's not something you practice.
How do I learn it then?
It comes to you, usually at night. It's like a lover, or maybe a burglar. Either it ravishes you, or runs off with all your jewelry, and you have to run it down and stab it in the heart. And that metaphor got a bit away from me, didn't it?
I think it did, but it was certainly exciting. do you have a parrot, Isabella?
What would I want a parrot for?
What about a peg leg? Do you have one of those?
You can see that I don't, dear.
Eye patch?
I'm disappointing you terribly, aren't I? And no hook for a hand either.
Seems that Varric's pirate stories are awfully inaccurate.
He knows, kitten. He likes them better that way.
Why are you watching me like that?
You have Valasleen. The same markings that the Dalish have.
Yours are not made of lyrium.
No, they're made of blood. Our blood. That's what Valasleen means. Blood writing. It's a mark of adulthood.
Mine were carved into my flesh against my will, in a ritual I remember only for the agony it caused me.
I'm so sorry. You've probably never met a Dalish before, have you?
I wouldn't know.
I'm sure you'd be able to tell. Dalish aren't much like the elves in the cities.
The smug sense of superiority does give you away.
Certainly your people have stories about the Dalish, no?
My people?
The elves in Tevinter. They must have heard of us.
They've heard. They just don't care.
But if they run away, the Dalish would help them.
You might as well say, if they flew into the sky, they could live in the clouds.
What would they eat in the clouds? There's nothing there but fluff and the occasional bird.
This is why nobody takes the Dalish seriously. I don't want your pity.
Are you talking to me?
You said you were sorry about the ritual I endured. Keep your sorrow.
I only meant...
You have all the freedom none of our kind enjoy, and you throw it away. On what?
Our people need to reclaim their heritage.
A heritage of defeat? To what end?
Would you truly turn your back on your own history? There's so much we don't know.
It's not my history. It's simply history.
So Pouncelot, who knighted him?
Is that a serious question?
Did he have a little sword or just his claws? I bet he had a dashing cap with a feather in it.
Would you stop making fun of my cat?
Oh, no hat then.
Ravani, stop looking at my chest. My eyes are up here.
But the chest hair...
Do you know how much I suffer under your gaze? I am a person, not an object.
Varric?
Just shitting you. I shit you not, Ravani. It was this big.
There's no way. Impossible. I've had hundreds of those in my hands, and they're never that size.
Would I lie about something so critical?
I can't stand it anymore. What are you two talking about?
We're discussing knives, of course. Well, daggers, technically. I never remember the difference. Why? What did you think we were talking about? I'll let you run your fingers through it if you want.
Your chest hair. My fingers. Oh, Varric, stop. You're making me quiver.
You know you want to.
Oh, I do. I can't resist you. No woman can.
I know. It's a terrible burden.
Thank you very much for the help earlier, Varric.
You made it back to the alienage in one piece, then?
I don't know how I wound up in Darktown. There are just too many corners in Kirkwall.
Still got that ball of twine?
I left it at my house. Don't worry, I won't get lost while we're following Hawk.
Bring it next time, Daisy. Just in case. Daisy, for my sake, please quit cutting through the alleys in Lowtown alone at night.
Nothing ever happens. I'm perfectly safe, Varric.
Yes, I know. And that nothing is costing me a fortune.
I've never met a dwarf before.
That's because you've spent too much time frolicking in the woods, Daisy. Dwarves don't frolic.
Dalish don't really frolic either. Not in the woods, anyway.
You have sanctioned frolicking areas?
No, just not in the woods. The trees get jealous.
But you do frolic.
Of course we do. We wouldn't be elves otherwise. You remind me of Harin Pyvelvarik, only younger and shorter, and not as serious.
So, it's a close resemblance then.
Well, he tells stories, and you tell stories. Although none of his begin, "No shit, there I was."
I'll have to give him some better stories then.
You do not like your name?
My name is a wish my father made, and I did want to be a knight, but...
I see. Still, it's a good name. A strong name.
What were you named after?
I don't know my real name. My master called me Fenris, his little wolf.
Could you not call yourself something different now?
Couldn't you?
A fine point.
So, choir boy, this usurper of yours is, 20 feet tall?
Not even close, no.
But he has claws for hands, right?
Fingers. Perfectly normal ones. If a little fat, perhaps.
He eats babies, though, and farts fire.
You're not serious, I hope.
You can't even pretend to be interesting, can you?
So you were invested as a brother in the Chantry, right?
I had just taken my vows when I learned my family was killed.
But you gave sermons and took confessions and such, right?
Do you have something you wish to confess?
I just want to know, what do you say when people have questions? What's your answer when someone asks, so, if Andraste preached freedom and ended slavery, why do you lock up mages and keep them as slaves?
No one ever asked that. It's been very exciting working with Hawk.
Are you for real?
It seems like he's involved every time there's a crisis in Kirkwall. I've never had so many opportunities to help people.
All right. I thought I was getting tired of Moody. I take it back. You're making my teeth ache. Tell us about Starkhaven, choir boy. I'm sure we're all burning with curiosity about your faraway land.
My faraway land? It's inland free marches, not on the moon.
Huh. And here I was hoping.
It's a lot like here, but fewer dead people.
Well, you don't have Hawk.
You seem very angry.
And here I thought the Chantry was against mind reading.
Did something happen to you in the Circle? I understand there were problems in Ferelden.
Are you saying a mage can only be unhappy in the Circle if demons are involved?
No, it's not about Aldred. It's not about being beaten or raped by a Templar. That does happen. But I've been fortunate. It's a larger principle. The freedom every man, woman and child born in Thedas have as a natural right.
You were given to the Circle. I was given to the Chantry. Hawk was driven away from home by the Darkspawn. None of us are free. So your tranquil solution was hardly the Holocaust you imagined.
You've been seeking revenge for the death of one family for as long as I've known you. Are you honestly judging me for trying to save the lives of every mage in Thedas?
But they were never threatened. It was a single man's lunacy. The Chantry would never follow through with such a thing.
Yet.
I understand you are of noble birth.
My father was a chevalier. He had to flee Orlais when his patron was murdered.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't have been suited for the life of an Orlesian noblewoman anyway.
But surely you wish it had been different. To be a lady of Orlais and not a city guardsman.
Not for one moment. I'd rather kill a bandit and save a merchant's family than know the correct dance steps and which rouge is in fashion.
Is this getting you any closer to your ship?
Huh?
I just don't understand why you're working with Hawk. You don't seem to care about anything we do. What's keeping you here?
Mostly the blooming rose. I'm paid up to the end of the year. I'd hate not to use it.
The brothel?
What? Women can't go to brothels too? You're just not using your imagination. Oh, look. Now you are. You're cute when you're blushing.
I hope this wasn't presumptuous, but I added your husband's name to the memorial wall in the chantry.
Wesley? But you never knew him.
He was a Templar. He refused to abandon the people of Ferelden to the Blight. He died too young. The Grand Cleric will read his name during the Chant of Remembrance.
Thank you. That is very kind.
He walks with the Maker, but it is no shame for those left behind to mourn.
So you're a prince, are you?
That is apparently true.
There's doubt?
I've accepted the burden. That's all that matters. Why do you ask, Guard Captain?
The entitled types are always trouble.
In that case, I'm glad I don't count myself as one.
They never do.
I notice you talk about vulgar things quite a bit.
Do you want me to stop? Do I make you uncomfortable?
It was just an observation, really.
It's a bad habit I picked up spending years with foul-mouthed pirates. Pirates only care about a small number of very specific things. The sea, strong drink, and booty. Both kinds. Well, Captain. Can I call you Captain? You can call me Captain.
I won't be doing that.
Neither will I, because you're a guard captain. No real authority. Not like on a ship.
Well, you would know about having a large number of men under you.
You've been waiting to use that one. Did you practice?
Shut up.
What have I done now? You look like you wish to scold me.
I just can't fathom why you're still in Kirkwall. For 6 years you've been claiming you'll retake your parents' lands. You're smart. You'd be a capable ruler. What are you waiting for?
I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
Do we ever get to know that?
You don't like me, Guard Captain?
I've no issue, so long as the fight over your title stays in Starkhaven. Exactly like it hasn't.
Should I apologize for trying to take back what is rightfully mine?
Whatever it takes, no matter the cost.
It feels like you're blaming me for some personal experience of yours.
I was at Ostagar. Good people die when leaders do whatever it takes.
Good people know the necessity.
All right. Let's just get this over with.
A duel?
No, the sermon. The finger-wagging, the guilt trips. Telling me how an unexamined life isn't worth living.
I wasn't going to...
You weren't? You weren't going to tell me to comfort the needy and give freely of myself?
From what I hear, you already give yourself quite freely.
Ooh, you got me there.
I had trouble with another of your women, Isabella. She stole from a distracted client. You're lucky she wasn't jailed.
My women? I am but a shepherd. And what free enterprise are you oppressing now?
Theft is not enterprise.
Opportunities insufficiently guarded. Victimless crimes.
Except for all the victims.
Details. Victimless details.
I used to be like you, you know.
You used to be a woman?
No.
That explains a lot.
My family put me in the Chantry because I was giving them a bad name. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I found peace. I found a purpose. Before I came here, I used to be out to all hours, drinking and whoring. I didn't believe in anything except my own pleasure.
Why couldn't I have met you then? So, how good is Donick? Is he cocksure?
Just get it out of your system.
Did he curl your toes? Grope your grinder? Aal your Eamon? Caddis your Katie? Grey your Warden? Or master your taint? That's an old one.
Yes, all right. He's an incredibly proficient lover. Happy?
Well, that's rather personal, don't you think? You have such pretty hair. What a lovely color.
Other children used to laugh at me for having ginger hair.
Really? Oh, I bet you were cute. Did you have pigtails?
Sometimes.
How precious. Little Aveline running around the village with her flaming orange pigtails streaming behind her. And little boys all scattering and screaming for mercy as she approached.
Shut up, whore. How are you so successful with men? You're not that pretty.
Cast a wide enough net and you're bound to catch something.
At least you're willing to admit it.
Trust me. I've heard, "Get away from me, you pirate hag," more times than I care to count.
Doesn't that bother you?
Why should it? They don't know me. I know me.
You're right.
About
knowing who you are. I'm the captain of the guard, I'm loyal, strong, and I don't look too bad naked.
Exactly. And if I called you a mannish, awkward, ball-crushing do-gooder, you'd say...
Shut up, whore.
That's my girl.
Were you ever dedicated in the faith of the Chantry?
I have no memory of my childhood. Daenerys had no desire to teach his slaves anything that made them think they're worthy beings.
I'm sorry. I can't imagine how difficult your life has been.
No, you can't.
Whether you were taught it or not, the Maker has room at his side for every soul, even yours.
You never come to the alienage, Fenris.
I don't live in the alienage.
Don't you care about the plight of our people? Not even a little bit.
I don't need to visit the alienage to know what they suffer. I know it better than you.
I've lived there for years. I see it firsthand.
And I lived it.
Are you an Andrastian, Fenris?
If I say no, will you attempt to convert me?
Many elves believe in the Maker. I ask only because I wonder if your experiences soured your faith.
My faith was never strong. It's difficult for a slave to have faith in someone who abandoned them.
The Maker didn't enslave you, Fenris.
He didn't help me much either.
And yet you stand here free. Perhaps he helped you more than you think.
Did you step on something sharp, Fenris?
No?
Slam your fingers in a door?
No.
Smack your head on a low beam?
Is there a point to this line of questioning?
Just wondering why you're so cross all the time.
Perhaps it's the inane prodding. The Maker didn't free me.
I see you've been thinking about what I said.
I freed myself. If the Maker did anything, he watched. Why should I thank him for that?
Is it so hard to believe the Maker cares for you? Maybe he gave you the chance to escape.
It doesn't feel like the Maker cares for me, or anyone.
We all make our own choices to do good as well as evil. That is our doing, not the Maker's.
Perhaps. It's been a long time since I gave it any thought.
It's not too late to start. You know, Fenris, as a brother in the Chantry, I'm allowed to hear confessions.
Why would you tell me this?
I know Daenerys made you do things. I thought you might be more comfortable talking to a friend. You should know. A murder committed under duress is a sin on the one who ordered it, not the one whose hands carried out the deed.
Have I not spoken enough of my past? Does everyone in Kirkwall wish to hear every sordid detail?
Sometimes it's painful to speak. but it's the only way the wound can be lanced. You know, when I return to Starkhaven, you're welcome to come with me.
And do what, exactly?
You're a fine warrior. If you could train men to fight like you do, we'd be unstoppable.
I'm no leader, and I doubt humans would want me training them.
Then why not train elves? I bet there's plenty who would admire all you've accomplished.
I haven't accomplished anything.
No? You are your own man, living as you see fit. You give yourself too little credit.
You are being kind.
Not at all. Think about it. Have you heard the Chant of Light?
That's the song they sing at the chantry, right? It's pretty, but a little repetitive.
Then you know the story. How Andraste became the Maker's divine bride and convinced him to offer us a second chance.
Right, but I never understood why she had to die.
Her mortal husband betrayed her out of jealousy.
But if he wanted her to spread her faith, couldn't she do that better alive?
The Maker gave us free will. By his betrayal, Mafarath showed us that men were not yet worth saving.
I don't know. It's a nice story, but I think it's got some holes.
So what do you believe, Meryl?
Our gods abandoned us long ago. They haven't answered our prayers since the fall of Arlathan. When we've proven that we're elves again, that we didn't lose everything, they'll come back to us.
We say the same of the Maker. Perhaps they're only different names, for the same divine force that created the world.
The Maker wants you to be elves?
Avert your eyes, witch.
You said I was dwelling on useless history. But what are you doing? The past is important to you and to all of us. We must know it to move forward.
Yet I have made no deal with a demon to learn of my past. You had a life, you had a family, and you abandoned them to chase after ghosts. We are nothing alike. Don't even begin to think that we are. You are more naive than I thought.
What have I done to you now?
To me, nothing. Not yet. To yourself, you can't even begin to imagine the number of mages that have walked down the path you're now on.
My clan didn't believe in me. If you don't believe in me either, I won't mind. If your city was stolen, why didn't you just call the guards?
I'm afraid the matter can't be handled by guards, Meryl.
Aveline could help you. She's very good at making thieves give things back. I think it's because she's so tall.
This is beyond even Aveline's power, I'm sorry to say.
Are you sure? Have you seen her hit people?
So you found your brother?
I did. Wasn't expecting that.
I assume there was a time when you and he were friends?
With Bertrand? No. Just brothers. Occasionally he wasn't insufferable.
And yet you remained at his side.
Too bad he didn't do the same. You know, if you need advice on how to lay low, I can give you some.
Being short would make for an excellent start, I suspect.
Keep that up, Sirrah, and you can keep on hiding like a rank amateur.
What would you suggest, Varric? Cower in the shadows like a rat?
You could try wearing something that didn't scream, "I hate you all, I was a slave."
The markings would still show.
Really? Through anything? That's kinda cool.
What was Lemerin like? I've never heard of a Dalish who's been there.
I don't imagine your people travel between islands much.
Not really, no.
I wouldn't start waterproofing your wagons then. I don't think Lemerin is ready for the Dalish.
What do you mean? Would we upset the people there?
It's not the kind of place where one turns down a tumble. Even refuse a fortune teller and they'd run your lot out of town.
How do you suppose the Quinaris scratch their heads with those horns in the way?
Why do you think I would know?
Because you know lots of things. I wonder if they rub their heads against tree trunks like Hala do.
I'd pay a sovereign to see that.
No wonder they seem so cranky all the time.
It's not always fun and games on the sea, though. There are storms and hostile pirates. And it's trying being cooped up with men who haven't seen a woman in months.
You're a woman.
Exactly. And I don't usually let them touch me, so they get frustrated. I insist all of them get alone time. Helps with the crankiness.
They're already lonely. Why would you insist they be alone some more?
Ah, Meryl.
What? Did I miss something?
Go think about it. Maybe it'll come to you.
Why do you even like me? I must seem so dull. What brought this on? Your life has been so exciting. The adventures, the duels, the passionate love affairs. Compared to that, my life is a stale, dry biscuit. I wish I had your life.
No, you don't want my life.
Why?
Because you have a good heart, and you deserve better.
You've had many lovers, haven't you?
Fewer than some think.
But you never stay with them.
No, why should I?
But the act of lovemaking is so... intimate.
I don't make love. What I do is only skin deep, kitten. Don't worry your pretty little head about it.
So I hear you've been visiting the Viscount's gardens, Daisy.
Oh, they're enormous. And they're always empty. Why don't more people go to see them?
Probably because they're private and surrounded by guards.
I think a cross?
Why a mirror?
I don't understand the question.
If your people were going to make a magical whatever for talking to each other, why choose a mirror? Do elves spend a lot of time talking to their own reflections?
I suppose the ancient elves would have felt silly talking to a wardrobe or an urn.
Yes?
Is it like you thought? It's nice, isn't it? He seems nice.
Yes, he's very nice.
I know, and you're so cute when you're with him. Not like normal you at all.
Haven't you got something unholy to do?
No, we're following Hawk. That's important too. I'm sorry about your brother, Varric. Have you any other family?
I have family like a rat has fleas, Daisy.
Does that mean you have a lot of family? Or that they make you itch a lot?
Both.
This mirror of yours, what does it do?
Mostly it stands in my house, looking a bit spooky.
But it's magic, right? So it can do magic things. Is it dangerous?
It could fall on someone, but you'd have to push it really hard. It's quite heavy.
Meryl, is it a danger to the people of Kirkwall or not?
Oh, only to anyone sitting right under it. Are you happy?
Beg your pardon?
He seems happy. Hawk, I mean. Are you?
Yes, I suppose I am.
Good. You've spent much too much time being grumpy. It's a nice change. Are you all right?
I nearly killed an innocent girl. How could I be all right?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry? For me? This could be you. You could be the next monster threatening helpless girls.
Anders, there's no such thing as a good spirit. There never was. All spirits are dangerous. I understood that. I'm sorry that you didn't.
It's not a good feeling, you know,
What?
being an abomination. I just got a taste of your future.
I'm not that foolish. Our relationship is, strictly platonic.
It's like you're trapped in your own body, seeing out your eyes, while someone else moves you like a puppet. And you're trying to scream, to move a single muscle, but there's no escape. Until you look down at the blood on your hands.
Stop it! You're scaring me.
That's the point.
Were you listening to that guy in the Hanged Man last night?
Your eyes are like bumblebees, flying into the window of my soul.
My favorite was, your lips are like the wings of sparrows. Red ones, with no feathers.
Oh, speak, and send the plucked wings of your lips soaring.
I'd buy the guy a drink, but I don't think he needs one.
Psst. I've got some of it written down now.
Give it here. Her breasts strained against the leather jerkin, like two wild stallions corralled against their will. She pounced, the smooth moves of a jungle cat, and locked her thighs around Donnick's waist. He...
Maybe you should read the rest of it in private.
I think that's best. You have got to tell me what was in that box, Ravani.
Which box? I've opened so many.
Well, those two, but later. Right now, that Kunari relic.
I'll make you a deal. I'll tell you what was in that box if you tell me how Bianca got her name.
Fine. Forget I asked, evil woman.
You do not like your name?
My name is a wish my father made, and I did want to be a knight, but...
I see. Still, it's a good name. A strong name.
What were you named after?
I don't know my real name. My master called me Fenris, his little wolf.
Could you not call yourself something different now?
Couldn't you?
A fine point.
There has to be a better way.
All right, I'm just going to say it. Fenris, you need to present yourself better.
What are you talking about?
You're squatting in Hightown. I sympathize with your claims, but your neighbors have influence.
My claims?
To the estate. Rightfully stolen isn't exactly something I can forward to the Viscount. Be more discreet about... yourself.
I shall endeavor to exist with less offense.
Fenris, did you consider my offer for you to train the guard into Vinter fighting techniques? I've heard nothing.
My abilities were inflicted, not taught. I will not pass that on.
Some good should come of them.
No. It feels good to be captain of the guard, yes?
No, I will not change the patrols around your mansion again. There's already been too many questions.
You wound my pride with such accusations.
But you were going to ask.
Eventually.
I'll look at the roster and see what I can do.
Did you ever think about killing yourself?
I could ask you the same thing.
I'm serious. To get out of slavery, to escape Denarius. Don't tell me you never thought about it.
I did not. To kill oneself is a sin in the eyes of the Maker.
You believe that?
I try to. Some things must be worse than slavery.
Some things are worse than death.
You should have lived in Tevinter. You'd be happier there.
You're probably right.
There, your magic would be a mark of honor. Apprentice to the right magister, you would do well.
Is there a downside?
Only if you're bothered by owning a few slaves and performing the occasional blood ritual.
So they all do those things?
Just the ones who don't complain about how powerless and persecuted they are.
So, this relic you lost, how is it you don't know what it is?
It was in a box.
And you didn't open it? You managed to resist the urge?
It was locked. It was a locked box.
Hasn't stopped you before.
What do you want me to say?
Nothing. I just found it curious, that's all. You do have an opinion on mages, don't you?
Of course I do. I just don't feel a constant need to bring it up. Mages don't worry me. And I don't believe the Templars when they say I should be worried. I'm more likely to be shanked in a bar than eaten by an abomination. You can hear those coming a mile away. Grr, arg. Oh, is that an abomination coming to eat us? We should get out of here.
Abominations don't go grr, arg.
They don't? I should rethink the whole thing then.
I seem to recall you saying something a while ago.
Shut up.
I can control it. Wasn't that what you said?
So help me.
So your tranquil solution was hardly the Holocaust you imagined.
You've been seeking revenge for the death of one family for as long as I've known you. Are you honestly judging me for trying to save the lives of every mage in Thedas?
But they were never threatened. It was a single man's lunacy. The Chantry would never follow through with such a thing.
Yet.
You know, if you have time, I could give you a few archery pointers.
Excuse me?
Sometimes your shots veer a little left. I thought maybe your cocking ring was off. I could take a look if you like.
You want to touch Bianca's cocking ring?
It was just a thought.
Go ahead, say it.
Say what?
I saw you watching me.
I was looking at the clouds.
Don't give me that. I know you've been judging me. You think I'm out of control? How can I claim to speak for mages when I'm half demon myself?
The one over there looks a bit like a bunny rabbit.
So, I've known you for 3 years now. I give up. You beat me. What is it? You like boys, sheep, you slept with your sister?
What are you talking about?
What are you hiding? Nobody's this bloody clean. After you leave the Chantry, you get drunk at the Hangman and walk around in women's clothes.
I've been honest with you and Hawk.
Liar.
Lying is a sin.
How can you have so much faith? Does nothing bother you?
You're bothering me.
The Maker left us to our own devices generations ago. He's never going to step back in, start listening to our prayers again. He's gone. Doesn't that bother you?
He's a merciful Lord. He could have destroyed our world when we failed him, but instead, he gave us a chance at redemption. Should we not be joyful?
You know, choir boy, I wouldn't normally say this, but the shiny white armor, it works for you.
That's uncharacteristically kind of you, Varric.
Makes you look like a lacquered pilot whale.
Ah, now that was much more in character.
How can you keep standing up for her?
Who?
That doddering old biddy of a Grand Cleric.
How dare you? Elthina is everything a Grand Cleric should be. She's holy, wise...
Spineless. Hesitant. She's clay in Meredith's hands.
In the face of danger, sometimes the bravest thing is to stand back and trust the Maker will see justice done.
Well, if doing nothing sums up your religion, then Elthina is perfect. Personally, I'd prefer a chantry that favors action over sloth.
You've made no secret of your intent to lead the mages here in Revolution.
Well, I've tried not to shout it from the rooftops. You've just been around when I talk with my friends.
Well, as we have mutual friends who for some reason don't want you to get hurt, let me tell you this. If you go forward with this revolt, the Chantry will bring its full might to bear. They will kill you.
Andraste was killed. That doesn't mean she failed.
Do not compare yourself to Andraste. You've been watching me all day. It's getting a little distracting.
Meryl's right. Your armor is shiny. I can see myself in it. Look. Shit. Oh, shit. Is that a wrinkle? Is that a wrinkle between my brows?
I don't see...
Hold still.
I saw you at the Chantry last week, Fenris, but I haven't seen you back since.
I was only delivering something. You needn't concern yourself.
But you were praying? Or was that part of the delivery?
I was trying to blend in.
Oh yes, you wouldn't want to ruin your reputation.
Don't you have a city to reconquer?
It's been years, and not once have you tried to get me to repent or turn to the Maker.
Preaching seldom works, Isabella. To change a person's heart, one has to lead by example.
Huh. That makes sense. I can respect that.
I grew weary of the strings of nameless lovers and the nights full of mindless pleasure. You will too.
That's the cruelest thing anyone's ever said to me. I think I'm going to cry.
Terrible things do happen, Sebastian.
But what we see is only a piece of the puzzle. Only the Maker can see the greater picture.
The guilty prosper. Innocents die.
And then they are brought to the side of the Maker. Their suffering ends. There is always a greater purpose.
Denarius once killed a little boy to fuel blood magic that let him impress his fellow senators at a party. What was the purpose there?
Perhaps it was witnessing that which will give you the strength to prevent it ever happening again. It's our duty to tell the Templars.
Then why haven't you done it?
I guess I was hoping they'd come to it on their own.
And then you wouldn't have to betray Hawke's friends, right?
That's not reason enough to allow a Maleficar to walk free. Which of us should do it? Shall we draw lots?
You want to turn them in? You work it out with Hawke.
You know, when I return to Starkhaven, you're welcome to come with me.
And do what, exactly?
You're a fine warrior. If you could train men to fight like you do, we'd be unstoppable.
I'm no leader, and I doubt humans would want me training them.
Then why not train elves? I bet there's plenty who would admire all you've accomplished.
I haven't accomplished anything.
No? You are your own man, living as you see fit. You give yourself too little credit.
You are being kind.
Not at all. Think about it.
So that's it? You're not returning to Starkhaven now?
There are greater things that need to be done, Fenris.
And what about avenging your family? Does that not need to be done?
What has my vengeance accomplished, except to spill more blood? No, I must put my faith in the Maker. He will set my path before me.
I can't decide if it is certainty you have, or blindness.
At least you can't decide.
So, I've never understood why the Chantry says if you're good, you'll be taken up to the Maker's side.
Those who die with the sins cleansed from their souls will walk beside the Maker in eternity.
That doesn't sound fun. If they really want people to be good, shouldn't they offer an afterlife with lakes of wine and a dozen naked virgins?
Anyone who wants that will be going to the Void.
Sounds like that's where all the good parties will be.
Aveline, do you think we'll win?
Win what?
In the end. It feels like something is ending, doesn't it? Do you think we'll win?
Nothing is ending, Meryl. Things are a little tense, but it will pass.
I hope we win. Barrick will make it a good story, I'm sure.
A Starkhaven called for its lost prince, Sebastian. Would you give up if the city has moved on?
Like Ferelden moved on after Caelan.
You've been reading.
It's a good tale. King Alistair is particularly inspiring. But I doubt that's how you see me. I don't intend to let anyone die restoring me to my place, Aveline. The risks are mine, and that will have to satisfy.
It was well said. I give you that. We'll see. Are you loyal, Prince?
Guard Captain?
To Kirkwall, are you loyal? You're set on a title in Starkhaven, but we're having a crisis here.
This isn't just a Kirkwall concern. If this chaos spreads, Starkhaven will need a strong ruler to beat back the tide.
I've seen greater men than you use that excuse.
Noted and ignored, Captain.
I've always wondered, how do your divines choose their names?
They write all the best sacred names on slips of paper and stuff them in a mitre. Then, the newly elected divine picks a name out of the hat.
What if she picks a name she doesn't like? Does she have to keep it?
Of course she does. How do you think we got 4 divines named Hortensia?
Yes?
Is it like you thought? It's nice, isn't it? He seems nice.
Yes, he's very nice.
I know, and you're so cute when you're with him. Not like normal you at all.
Haven't you got something unholy to do?
No, we're following Hawk. That's important too. What does your chantry do? I mean, you keep saying how great it is. Anders and Isabella tell me to stay away from it, but what does it do? Among the Dalish, the keepers teach the children, preserve our history, perform magic. The priestesses here just sing.
The Chantry does many charitable works. It cares for widows and orphans.
Who in the Dalish would just be part of the clan, like everyone else? I just don't get it.
What have I done now? You look like you wish to scold me.
I just can't fathom why you're still in Kirkwall. For 6 years you've been claiming you'll retake your parents' lands. You're smart. You'd be a capable ruler. What are you waiting for?
I don't know if it's the right thing to do.
Do we ever get to know that?
Does your bow have a name? Varric's bow has a name.
I'm afraid I can't compete with our dear dwarf's relationship to his weapon.
You could call it Philomela.
Why would I do that?
Because it reminds me of a woman in the alienage. Skinny, pointed, and always throwing things at people.
You need to seek atonement.
I know I should have died there, not Marathari. Don't you think I feel guilty enough?
Guilt isn't a punishment. It's a reminder there are things you haven't said right. The only way to shed its burden is to repent with a sincere heart and rectify your failings.
But how? The Keeper is dead. My clan lost everything because of me. There's not enough I can do in this lifetime to make up for that.
It was your pride that led you to the demon. Admitting what you can't do is a good first step.
Aveline, what's in your mirror?
What do you mean?
In your mirror? What do you see?
A warrior? A wife? All the mistakes I made to get here and make it right. Why? What have you decided to see?
Demons. And cracks. Maybe I'll borrow yours sometime, if that's all right.
It's all right. I didn't expect you to stick around for this mess, Meryl. This has nothing to do with your elves.
Everything affects everything. We were born, a bunch of things happened, and now we're in a mess with our friends.
That seems too simple.
Simple is good. It sneaks up on you, makes you smile. Or maybe it says, hey, over there! and kills with a pin.
Merrill?
Simple, Aveline. Not stupid.
Do you have many dealings with the Knight Commander?
Please don't start with that. I'm not a Templar. I'm the captain of the guard. We arrest burglars. The Knight Commander never gives us a thought.
Grand Cleric Elthina is worried about her. She's stopped taking the Chantry's advice.
Her job's not easy. Certain forces in the city are allied against her.
Clearly our Templars need strong leaders.
Until something changes, that's Meredith. And we must give her any support we are able.
Is there a story behind Bianca?
There's a story behind everything, Daisy.
So tell me.
I can't.
Why not?
There was a girl, and I made a promise. Bianca is the only story I can never tell.
You can't say that. Now I want to know even more.
That was the idea, Daisy.
Why do you even like me? I must seem so dull. What brought this on? Your life has been so exciting. The adventures, the duels, the passionate love affairs. Compared to that, my life is a stale, dry biscuit. I wish I had your life.
No, you don't want my life.
Why?
Because you have a good heart, and you deserve better.
You've had many lovers, haven't you?
Fewer than some think.
But you never stay with them.
No, why should I?
But the act of lovemaking is so... intimate.
I don't make love. What I do is only skin deep, kitten. Don't worry your pretty little head about it.
You should have this back.
Twine? When did I loan you a ball of twine?
You gave it to me when I first moved here, when I kept getting lost in Lowtown. It drove the merchants in the market completely batty, but it did help me find my way.
Keep it, Daisy.
I don't think I'll be getting lost again anytime soon.
Well, you never know. Might need to tie a package up, hang a lantern, dress a roast chicken. It's multi-purpose.
Varric, how does one get made a paragon?
The Assembly votes on it. Enough votes, and bam! You're a living god.
You should ask to be made a paragon of manliness.
Oh, I like the way you think, Ravani. But one doesn't just ask to be made a paragon.
Why not? Everyone can see you're a paragon of manliness. It's just a matter of making it official.
After all this, the life of a pirate's going to be a bit dull, isn't it?
I know. I'll have to steal myself another Canary relic.
The scary thing is, I don't know if you're joking.
Of course I'm joking. I'm not getting involved with those people again. No. This time I'll steal the Queen of Antiva. There's no way that can go wrong.
Avert your eyes, witch.
You said I was dwelling on useless history. But what are you doing? The past is important to you and to all of us. We must know it to move forward.
Yet I have made no deal with a demon to learn of my past. You had a life, you had a family, and you abandoned them to chase after ghosts. We are nothing alike. Don't even begin to think that we are.
Your keeper did not deserve that death.
It was my risk to take. I never asked her to do this for me.
She knew you didn't have the strength to resist the demon. That's why it picked you.
Why are you doing this? What can I do about it now?
Make up for your mistakes. Most blood mages never get a second chance.
You are more naive than I thought.
What have I done to you now?
To me, nothing. Not yet. To yourself, you can't even begin to imagine the number of mages that have walked down the path you're now on.
My clan didn't believe in me. If you don't believe in me either, I won't mind.
You must join us. Do you see that now? You must stand with Kirkwall's mages.
It's not my fight.
You can't hide in Sundermount. There is no place for you among the Dalish.
No, my clan is all I ever cared about. Everything I did for them.
On second thought, maybe don't try to help us.
Are you happy?
Beg your pardon?
He seems happy. Hawk, I mean. Are you?
Yes, I suppose I am.
Good. You've spent much too much time being grumpy. It's a nice change. Do you regret it? What happened with your sister, I mean?
No.
You don't feel bad about killing her? Not even a little?
It was necessary.
You're lucky then. There are so many things I wish I could undo. Poor Anders.
You pity him. He's dangerous to himself and everyone around him.
I think he's broken the thing he wanted to save.
You pity him because he's you.
Breaking the things you love most isn't restricted to mages, Fenris.
Sadly true. So you found your brother?
I did. Wasn't expecting that.
I assume there was a time when you and he were friends.
With Bartrand? No. Just brothers. Occasionally he wasn't insufferable.
And yet you remained at his side.
Too bad he didn't do the same. You know you still owe me 5 sovereigns, Elf.
I'm good for it.
So you think you can win the coin from Isabella? Good luck with that. Coming to the Hanged Man for wicked grace later?
Never miss it. You do not like your name?
My name is a wish my father made, and I did want to be a knight, but...
I see. Still, it's a good name. A strong name.
What were you named after?
I don't know my real name. My master called me Fenris, his little wolf.
Could you not call yourself something different now?
Couldn't you?
A fine point. Do you feel like a citizen, Fenris?
Excuse me?
You've been in Kirkwall as long as I have. Does it feel like home?
I have no comparison, really. It feels like a free place.
Maybe that's enough.
We shall see.
There's a war coming. Does it feel different, fighting by choice?
You were never ordered to kill?
I was a soldier, but I was willing.
I was willing as well, but not by choice. If that makes any sense.
Does anything in this mess?
So who is Bianca?
My crossbow. Say hello, Bianca.
But why Bianca? You must have named her after someone.
Nope. Mirabelle was taken.
The way you fondle your weapon is disturbing.
Hey, I'm a perfect gentleman. In public.
It feels good to be captain of the guard, yes?
No, I will not change the patrols around your mansion again. There's already been too many questions.
You wound my pride with such accusations.
But you were going to ask.
Eventually.
I'll look at the roster and see what I can do.
I notice you hardly ever comment on mages and Templars and such.
That's a lot of humans in skirts. I get them mixed up.
I highly doubt that. The subject comes up all the time.
Tell me about it.
And no opinion, one way or the other.
Opinions are like testicles. You kick them hard enough, doesn't matter how many you got.
That's... something. I was speaking to Donick the other day.
Since when do you talk with my husband?
He comes to the mansion once a week. We play Diamondback.
What? Why am I not invited to these games?
He says you get angry when you lose.
I do not. All right, perhaps I do. Still, that's no reason not to tell me.
It is if he's a betting man.
I disavow all knowledge of gambling occurring in my household.
Thank you for that tip, Fenris.
You caught them then?
Yes, a whole nest of slave runners working out of the Undercity.
I imagine you imprisoned them?
Sadly, they never made it to prison.
You always know how to make me smile, Aveline.